Sir, this is an extremely important piece of legislation, and it couldn't have come at a better time, considering the goals that this government has and this country has for our economic growth and prosperity. It certainly brings the ease of doing business much better in the country than it has been before. Sir, possibly after the GST, this may be the most important piece of legislation for ease of doing business. Under the chairmanship of Sri Bhupinder Yadav ji, we sat for almost, I think, 11 sittings over 4 months to deliberate on clause by clause in the entire code. And I think that I echo the sentiments of my colleague Sushmita ji, who said that it was a very good atmosphere. The chairman was very fair, gave everyone a chance to talk, and I think every member participated quite effectively without any major disagreements, and I think we came to some good conclusions and a good consensus on almost everything that was discussed, sir. Sir, just a few comments I'll make very short. One is, the key to this code working is the new system and structure that's being created, right from the insolvency board to the insolvency resolution professionals, the agencies, the information utilities, and various things that have been envisioned. I would only like to say that on paper it looks very good, but I think the implementation is going to be key and quite challenging. We're planning on starting a new class of professional in India. In that way, it's very historic also. Like chartered accountant or company secretary, insolvency professional will be a similar type of professional qualification that someone will have to attain to play this role. So the one thing is creating this whole new class of professionals throughout the country, the speed at which that can be done with the quality that is required, because a lot rests on the shoulders of these professionals. The entire resolution process, insolvency process, depends on the capability of these individuals. So how long will it take to create such a class of individuals to cover so many different cases is one great challenge that we're going to be facing, and I hope we're up to it, sir. Sir, there's 43,000 cases pending before DRTs, and nearly 1.4 trillion rupees are stuck as per the latest data, which is March 2013, sir. So by today, I think it would be maybe even higher. But this is the scale of the problem that we're looking at, and these are the type of things that need to be resolved at the earliest. So this code calls for finding early warning signals, basically, by reviewing the finances of all the companies that are registered in India. This is what the information utilities will be doing. And I think that if that system works well, then detecting difficulty early and being able to address it is going to help many companies which otherwise might have become sick from becoming sick also, sir. Sir, there's a fine line between genuine cases and fraudulent cases. And I think that's one big challenge that this code may not really address that adequately at the moment, because if I don't remember the number, sir, and I apologize for that, but I heard something like 1/3 or 1/2 of all companies in India are in financial distress. Now, if 1/2 or 1/3, that type of scale of all the companies in India are detected as a early warning signal as a financial difficulties, that's the number of people that will have to go in and support these companies, sir. And if we don't distinguish between genuine cases and fraudulent cases, I think it's very easy to liquidate, but very difficult to revive, and very difficult to start a new company also, sir. So we have to ensure that the focus is on revival first before it goes to liquidation. And I think that's something that this code doesn't address sufficiently, and I would request the Finance Minister to please look into that, sir. Sir, I think one of the earlier speakers also referred to the Company Law Board, and we know the experience of trying to transition to the National Company Law Tribunal since 2013 is still not done. And I think that's another example of what we should avoid when we're setting up the insolvency board and creating these professionals, sir. So I would like to make one point regarding personal guarantees, sir. So this is not actually part of this code, but I think it's related, therefore I would like to bring it up. When a company goes for a loan to a bank, it's very common for the bank to insist on personal guarantees of the promoters. So I would just like to ask this House and,
Try to conclude now,
yes, sir.
please.
I'm concluding, sir. See, by taking a personal guarantee, the whole idea of limited liability company is lost, sir. I mean, if the promoter has to sign a personal guarantee, that means his entire assets are at risk, aside from what he's trying to do in this business. And I would just like to give the example of a company like Tesla, sir. When will we ever have an entrepreneur like Elon Musk to set up a company like Tesla in India if they have to provide personal guarantees, sir? This company has been in existence for more than 10 years. I think it's made profit only 1 year. And it's definitely in financial difficulty from a profit and loss point of view. But the market cap is huge, and therefore it continues to survive. But such a project which is of such importance to society at large, the whole world, if not just one country, if the system discourages somebody to start a company like that, I think we need to look at a system and make sure that we correct this, sir. Because my personal experience also is that even with companies with assets and which are making profit, lately, I think maybe as a response to the Kingfisher issue that many people spoke about and all the NPAs in the banks are insisting on personal guarantees. And I think this goes against the very nature of entrepreneurship and discourages entrepreneurship, sir. I'd like the Minister to please look into it and see why are banks suddenly tightening up on promoters and insisting on personal guarantees. Thank you, sir.
My good friend Jay, who was talking about Tesla as an example of risk-taking and entrepreneurship. This bill is intended to look primarily at creditor rights, operational creditor rights, workmen's rights, and so on. The kind of financing that he's talking about for Tesla is typically done by equity financing, which is the high-risk financing that we need. And of course, we as a government have done a whole host of things to build up the domestic venture capital industry and also to encourage risk-taking in India. So that is an example of equity financing, not debt financing. This is primarily about debt financing.
I think it's enough now.
Yes.
You raised your point and it has been answered.
I wanted to talk about accountability of banks. I think now the entire attention on NPAs is putting the blame on promoters. But I think banks also have to have some accountability. They're reviewing business plans and approving business plans. They have to take some share in the risk, and therefore this personal guarantee should not be insisted on. Thank you, sir.
This is not the way. Honorable Madam, as we मुझ पर चिल्लाने से पानी आएगा, बैठिए। Honorable